Hey everyone, welcome to Curly Hair Artistry. My name is Scott Musgrave. Today's episode is going to be talking about silver hair, how to grow out hair color, how to transition out of coloring your hair and embracing your natural God-given hair color. So let's start right off. Now this is going to be a three-part series. I'm going to be interviewing a couple of ladies that have been transitioning through this process, and it's going to be an awesome interview. And another lady who's been living with the silver hair for years and embraced it, and her journey of what she's doing, maybe some of the products she's using. And these ladies are really an inspiration, and I wanted to give you, for the first session today, a hairstylist perspective on growing your hair out. So I have I wrote a blog about silver hair, and I'm going to put a link down below that really talks about some of the important things of, you need to really, if you're going to start growing your hair color out, you really have to understand it's so important that you have to be doing this for yourself. If you start to ask your spouse, your partner, your husband, and say, what do you think of my silver hair? Should I grow it out? You know, some people will say, I think it looks great. I support you. Oh, it's going to make you look old. So, and it just starts tearing down your esteem a little bit and your dignity and your confidence to do this. So there's been a lot of people that start growing their hair color out, and it looks fun, it's interesting the first inch or 2 inch, but when it starts getting about 4 inches, and if your hair is as dark as this curtain behind me, or if and you got this amount of light, so it's interesting. Some people have different expressions for it. There's snow white, there's silver, there's steel, there's salt and pepper. So you have different degrees and phases of percentage of white pigment that grows out, because underneath your scalp, the hair follicle stops producing pigment, and that pigment comes out white. So sometimes you can even find a dark strand that's dark on part of it, and then it's white half of it. So that's interesting. You can find eyebrows, you can find eyelashes, you can find facial hair. Everything starts to stop producing pigment. So as it's growing out, and I'm telling you, people will start looking at your hair when they're having conversations with you. You expect them to look you in the eye. They're looking at your hair and wondering, you know, did you lose your job? Did you separate from someone? They think there's something wrong when you start embracing your silver hair. Some people call it gray, some people call it silver. So I happen to call it silver. So when the silvers start coming out, and you get notices and comments from people, if you care about what other people think, you're going to be vulnerable to their opinions and their criticism, and you'll want to color your hair again. So from a hairstylist perspective, I encourage everyone, just embrace what you want to embrace. If you want to color your hair and it makes you feel good and you're doing it for yourself, there's nothing wrong with continuing to do that. You may see a growing movement of people embracing their curly hair and also embracing their silver hair, and there's nothing wrong with that. So I want you to do this because it feels right for you. So when you come in to a hair salon and you discuss with your hairstylist, do you think I should let my silver grow out? It depends on the stylist and the salon, because a salon wants your money. They also want to make you chemically dependent on them, so that you come in as much as possible, not only for a cut, but that hair color money. Oh my gosh, you can take $15 of hair color and charge $200 for it. That's a big, huge money maker. And if you start to embrace your silver or embrace your other color, because you're no longer bleaching your hair or using other things on your hair, you can the salon will lose a lot of income. And there is a lot of people embracing their natural curly hair, so they're not getting flat irons anymore. They're not buying treatments to reduce frizz, because they're learning how to manage their hair. A lot of them in my Cultivate Your Curls with the Matte Method community are embracing their hair and learning how for the first time to work and manage their hair, so they no longer have to straighten it out. So that link for that is down below if you're interested in that. But I want to continue on. If you ask a salon, if you ask your partner, you're putting yourself up to their opinion of what they want you to do. So it's best to do ultimately what you want to do. So there's people out there as well that also have genuine health concerns. They want to move from a chemically based life with pesticides on food and incorporate less pesticides or no pesticides. and shifting over from that to possibly using henna. Now, henna changes the structure of your hair just like hair color does. And when your hair is silver or gray and you put hair color on it, it opens up the porosity of your hair a little bit to give your hair more fullness and body. Now, some people that have open porosity hair already and you put color on it or bleach and it opens up from a low porosity to a medium porosity to a really blown up porosity, your hair just almost explodes when you put bleach on it. So your hair is very vulnerable, so it must be healthy before you bleach it. So if you start growing that out, you'll start to see hair thinning off, getting wispy, getting split ends. And if you're drying it and blow drying it, you're just making it worse. So people with curly hair, when they color it, it gives their hair a little bit of body. So when you stop coloring your hair, some people encounter a little bit of flatness, and they have to learn to embrace what that flatness is and know that when you manage your hair, especially with something like the MAP method, or what the stylist is doing for your hair, and it makes it look beautiful, you learn to embrace what you already have instead of the expectations of what it used to be. So that's a shift that goes into personal growth that breaks down your dignity and esteem and gives you a false identity in a way. Now you have to start to learn to embrace your true identity, and for a lot of people that's very empowering. I personally love that journey, and when you sit in my chair, I help you embrace that journey. And you, instead of feeding negative criticism comments to you, I speak life into you and help you build that up. So it depends on what stylist you go to, if they want your money, if they want you to embrace. A lot of times hairstylists have no repeat business. They're working on the same people. So if they have 10 people stop coloring their hair, that's thousands of dollars of income that they lose, and they're not bringing in new people. So if you stop coming in, their schedule goes down, they start freaking out. So hairstylists, if you're watching this, you need to always be having a wait list of new clients that come in and replace the clients that are not fulfilling that service that you want to offer anymore. You should have new people coming in, and you should also learn how to raise your prices. So that's something I address in the Curly Hair Artistry Mastery Program. And you can always contact me or click the links down below for the Mastery Program and how to embrace curly hair as far as cutting and building up your business and product application that will raise your income like through the roof. It's crazy. So one of the things that are out there are books and resources. Now, if you go searching out and you want to embrace your silver hair, well, I want some support. Some people go to Facebook groups and they find all kinds of support there, and those are great. There might be some online forums that I'm unaware of, but they're probably out there. You go to Instagram and you start doing the hashtag searches for embracing the gray, silver sisters, and some of those things. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of what resources I've found that I really like a lot. And the first one is called Going Gray Beauty Guide. It's by Jan Rogers. And this book has a lot of great information in it that is filled with just tips, resources, stories of ladies that really took their hair and just started to embrace it. So here's a lady here, she had some color on her hair, and this is a feathering technique that hairstylists can use, because when you're dark down here and light up here, you can feather in the transition line. So there's a line of demarcation. We have silver here and dark here. You can actually feather that line. And so you can increase your business by learning how to manage ladies that are growing out their silver. It's very lucrative and very profitable, and it helps build the esteem and dignity of another human being that you should incorporate. I love part of that business. So when you do feathering like that, that helps that out. So one of the other things about this book is kind of fun. Like, hey, there's me, I'm the only dude inside there. So I give some products and tips and recommendations for learning how to manage what I call silicones. They're silicone-based products that build up on the hair, and that can prevent your hair color from taking well. That can build up on your scalp. There's a lot of faults to it, so that's a little bit of a resource for you that talks about these ladies that have a variety of different gray, silver tones to it and how they're growing it out, stories and encouragement to people that are doing that. because most people just stop coloring, and when you stop coloring, you just have to wait like 2 years for that to grow out. Or if you have long hair, you're just letting it, you're cutting off that darkness and it grows, you're cutting off, grows, you're cutting it off, and then eventually it evens out. But some people just grow to here and they get it cut off and they wear their hair short now, they just grow it right out. Another resource that I like a lot is from Lorraine Massey and Michelle Bender. This is called Silver Hair. So one book was called Gray, this one's called Silver. So that's why I'm saying that that's what the world is like. So this is like a handbook, and Lorraine's team took some ladies with a variety of different shades. And what I wanted to show you is this is part of the deal when you take dark hair like this and it's transitioning out, you can see that it's bleached out to reduce the line, and then it's toned, and then usually when the porosity of the hair is bleached out, the cuticle raises up and you put a toner in it. The toner usually, to be honest with you, doesn't last that long. And then when it fades out, you have a little bit of like an orangey gold brassy color that you have to put more bleach on to reduce that, and that just ends up really processing your hair. And Lorraine discusses that you have to just dump and throw on and leave on a bunch of hydration, bunch of conditioner, so that your hair looks well. And if you want to do that, then this book and some of the other tips and techniques that are inside here give you some wonderful ideas of how to manage out your hair. So as a part of this series, and this is part one, the next series, I'm gonna have a lady that she's already in transition process. She's already got some silver up here with very dark hair, and she was getting her hair colored all the time. So you're gonna see that in part two. Part three is another lady that's in California, and she's already got a beautiful head of silver hair. She knows how to take care of it, what products to put on it. She knows the story that she's had to go through growing it out, and all the way growing it out, and you just, the stories that you hear. So you can read books if you want. I also want you to hear stories, and I wanted you to hear my own, as a hairstylist, perspective of just learning how to embrace your hair, or learning how to transition out of it is a variety of different ways that these books do. But if you need help while you're growing out and transitioning this, feel free to comment below. Tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us some success stories. Tell us how you don't give a crap about what other people think. Tell us how somebody maybe hurt your feelings. Get this out of your heart so that it makes you feel better about who you are and what you're doing, and that's a part of your journey, is sharing that in a healthy community where you can express more of who you are and how you're doing what you want to do, so you can live life in a grand way that you're designed to be doing. So look forward to the sessions coming up with part two and part three, and I look forward to you subscribing and hitting the links down below, and hearing some questions and comments about your own personal journey. You guys have a great day.